All right, 2 minutes before we begin our second game of the weekend here. That will be the Northern Arizona Wild West Outlaws taking on the Foco Micro Bruisers. So while we have a few minutes here, just go over the rosters of these two teams from Northern Arizona. The Wild West Outlaws, who are in white, are number 0, The Knockout, 008, Ham Wheezy, 1031, Holly Ween, number 13, Hugs and Stitches, number 24, Spitfire, 321, Vivian Slaya, number 5, Little Kitty Split, 54, Mecha Frankenstein, 562, Tinker Hell, at number 7, Glitter Bomb, number 76, Little Evil, 802, Mow You Down, and number 88, Joya Destroya. Their coaches are Dysentery, Henanigans, Apocalypsa, Shenanigans, and Brooke. Oh, you can. I just wanted to, just so you have the coaches' names.
Who did you do?
I did the.
There?
Yeah, if it's off, it's off.
I'm not seeing the blue light.
Oh, like the switch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Testing. Nope.
Wearing the
That is on. That's a church. Here. If you want to just start announcing these then, I'm going to try and fix this.
Okay. We're hearing light checks. All right, and the Foco Micro Bruisers are 010 Sid Vicious, number 15 MDK Demolition, number 20 Dead Zeppelin, 211 Mama Cass, number 29 Gonzo, 313 Haterade, 514 Parks and Rec, 555 Spilly Idol, 626 Peter Panic, 707 Bowser, 77 Tiffy Twister, number 80 Breezy, 96 Jacqueline Hyde, 999 Fireball. And just like that, we are off as 555 Spilly Idol.
Testing.
For Foco is the Jammer going up against 1031 Holly Ween.
All right, I got mine working. Spilly Idol is going. What is happening? Testing. Okay, here we are. Now Spilly Idol is going against that Foco defense and gets through, getting lead Jammer after cutting into the inside. Foco goes back to do some offense for their Jammer, who is stuck behind some of that Arizona defense.
All right, now on their scoring run is Holly Ween. Getting nice through. Yeah, you using good way to get by the hips of the defender who's right there blocking the line, but able to get through and get all 4 points. Spilly Idol finally makes their way out.
And the jam is called. That's going to be 4 points for the Wild West Outlaws. I wonder if I'm loud enough. I also see that this is plugged in.
All right, we have Sid Vicious in black going up against Glitter Bomb in white. There's Foco in black, and the Outlaws are in white, which is different for Outlaws, usually in the black, traditionally in Westerns. But it is Sid Vicious trying to smash their way through a tripod. It is the same Glitter Bomb facing the same exact problem. Very tough walls. Now, the game we had previously was a big defensive game, so I wonder if we'll have a repeat of that here, but it is Glitter Bomb through for a lead.
Sid Vicious is still stuck inside that wall, trying to get through. She finally breaks through with some help of her team, but Glitter Bomb comes around and calls off the jam. Yeah, I'm hearing myself through here at least.
All right, so
I think I just need to get a bit closer.
Yeah, as long as it's coming.
Yeah. I just don't know if I'm loud enough out there.
Oh. All right, in white for the Outlaws, Little Kitty split, going up against number 7-7 in black. That is Tiffy Twister. Kitty really using the track, trying to do some good lateral movements, but the Foco tripod keeping up with their movements. Tiffy Twister shoving their way, trying to get past. Good reforming, though, by the Outlaws. One more to beat, though. And let's see, we do have, looks like a power jam. There is a cut track on Tiffy Twister. So big advantage now for the Outlaws. Looks like there is a star pass. So it looks like their jammer, number 13, that is Hugs and Stitches, is now the jammer for the Outlaws.
That Foco defense is holding really strong against this offense coming from Arizona, where we get a lot of one-on-one blocking after that separation, which makes sure that jammer is being stuck in that wall.
Yeah, and with one jammer in the box and the other one passing it off, this will go the full 2 minutes, I believe, and still 55 seconds left.
We had a little bit of some jammer-on-jammer violence, but Tiffy Twister gets right through and right into that wall again. Hugs and Stitches is stuck inside of that Foco defense, while Tiffy Twister is trying to use her edges and push up that middle to get right through.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be the story of the weekend, is just 4 really good defensive teams. It's going to be tough 2 days for the jammers then of all these teams.
Both jammers are doing really good jobs. You see Tiffy Twister is moving up that wall and is trying to break the pack. No pack is called. Are they going to let it off? And she breaks through and is now scoring.
All right, so that was very difficult 2 minutes going on there for a 0-0 jam, it appears. Oh, yeah, seems these every team came here with their defensive game really strong. So let's see if who can take advantage of that. And we have MDK Demolition in black going up against 3-2-1 Vivian Slaya in white. Oh, we have a false start, so number 24 of the Outlaws will have to yield. And that will give Foco a chance to get lead, which they are doing, and now on their scoring pass.
We got some big hits coming up at the front of the pack as that jammer goes out, and MDK comes right back in scoring. A white blocker goes out for a penalty, and the wall is down to only 3 players.
Yeah, they got their pivot in the box as well, though, so Vivian Slay won't have anyone to pass that star off to, at least for 30 seconds, going up against a tough wall.
Vivian is doing a good job at trying to pick off that Foco defense, but they're getting around really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, really good regrouping.
And Vivian is now scoring as they come to the inside. And that's actually going to be a cut call.
Looks like there's maybe a penalty on Vivian there. So we have a power jam that can really help out Foco, at least get some offensive help to get by this wall. MDK Demolition there. Already 4 points on the board, looking to get a few more before this jam runs out. However, they are lead jammer as well, so they could call it as if they wish as well.
We're seeing some good offense from the Foco wall here. They tried to cut into that inside, but a player was still there.
Yeah, it's a really good penalty kill by the Outlaws here. And one of the Foco defenders goes to the box now. Just as the jammer is now clear and back into the game.
MDK is still getting stuck in that wall, but the pack is spread out more. And the jam is called.
That is a 2 minutes, so wow, another full 2 minute jam. Yeah, this is going to be an exhausting one. We're not even 10 minutes into this game.
There's a lot of really good fight here.
Yeah, 12-8 game, or a 14-8 game rather. The Outlaws pulling ahead. Yeah, you have to fight so hard just to get lead, and then you have to fight all the harder to get those points afterwards. And
next up, we have jamming for the Wild West Outlaws, Little Evil, and for the Micro Bruisers, Fireball. We have some really good fight on this wall here, but the outside is left out, and Breezy comes in for a sweep on Little Evil.
yeah, it was really good covering that track. They had an opening on the outside, and they were able to keep up with them and move laterally and hit them, keep them from taking it. Fireball doing some nice back and forth lateral work of their own to finally split up that Outlaw defense and get lead.
And while Little Evil is trying to slip by, Gonzo comes through with some massive hits onto the jammer, getting them out of position, delaying just long enough for Fireball to come back in and score another 4 points.
Nice work by Hugs and Stitches to stop Fireball's momentum there.
And Fireball calls the jam.
Yeah, that does bring us to a 2-point game now. Micro Bruisers able to put 4 on the board. So Spilly Idol back out in black, going up against Halloween.
Next up, jamming, we have Halloween and Spilly Idol.
And everyone's right there, right up against the jam line. Jammers and defenders alike. No one really giving anyone much room. Nice solo hit there. Try to see the number to stop Halloween from getting that lead, but Halloween does still find a way to get it.
We have some really good fight coming from both of these walls here. Spilly Idol keeps trying to take on those lines, but gets hit out right when they do.
Yeah.
Spilly. Oh, wait.
Yeah, really good job of covering that track and, plugging those holes, so the jammer, even if they got a lane, there's usually someone racing to cover that, making it very difficult for these jammers.
And Halloween will get out to call off the jam for another 4 points.
I know the previous game there was only 2 12-point jams, and those were the highest scoring jams of the entire game. So I wonder if we'll see something here where an 8-point jam is a high scoring jam once again. All right, Sid Vicious in black going up against Glitter Bomb in white. Vicious hard into the middle, trying to bust through that wall. Back to their feet, onto the inside, one more to beat, spins around, and through is Sid Vicious.
And Glitter Bomb is still stuck in that wall, getting blocked by Breezy and Gonzo. Yeah. Sid Vicious is coming around just again to get into that wall and tries to break it up immediately, which goes to a bunch of one-on-one blocking.
Yeah, Foco lost a defender there on a forearm call, but their 3-wall still holding really strong and keeping Glitter Bomb back as Sid Vicious scores some points there.
We see some offense coming from the Arizona wall, but those blockers are doing a really good job at keeping it all together.
Hard colliding going on. Everyone's back up on their feet, but Glitter Bomb is through. Sid Vicious looking for to score some points.
And
Calls it off. Yeah, hard hit there. Let's see, that was number 24, Spitfire of the Outlaws. And now we have an official review, perhaps maybe something to do with that at the very end of the jam there, but we'll see. So each team does have 3 team timeouts per game that they can use and an official review per half. So should they not retain this review, they still would get an official review to use in the second half. They would just lose it for this half alone.
We're going to move on to some of our announcements for today. BSR's last game of the season will be the Skates and Smiles, an event to benefit our amazing officials and volunteers, sponsored by Stubbs Dental. Join us Saturday, December 13th at 7 o'clock for a family-friendly night of fun.
All right, and also give a shout out to our longtime sponsor, the Pie Pizzeria, a Utah Valley landmark since 1980. Continuing to reign atop the best pizza list because of the business philosophy that consistency, quality, equitable pricing, and great service are the keys to success. So they've been a big supporter for Salt Lake Roller Derby, I think ever since Salt Lake Roller Derby was ever even a thing. So big thank you to the Pie Pizzeria. Yeah, so far in the first 12 minutes of this game, it's been just as hard-hitting and defense-heavy as our first game was. So, yeah, we got a whole weekend of this. Is going to be exhausting for these teams. We're at the by Sunday afternoon, we're going to have a lot of very bruised-up jammers. Well, the officials seem to have come to a decision, or letting the coaches and captains know what that is. So they do not retain their official review. Whatever they were challenging, the officials have decided against that challenge. So they will lose their review for this half. All right, number 77 in black, Tiffy Twister, is out there against number 5, Little Kitty Split. And we are got to get started again. Tiffy Twister shoving their way against a tripod. Meanwhile, Kitty Split kind of doing a lot of lateral movement to try to break up and find some space. But yeah, both walls very solid. Okay, we have a multiplayer call on one of the outlaw defenders, but Little Kitty Split is through and out for a lead.
Now, as Twiffy is still in the pack trying to get some points, Little Kitty comes right in, and Tiffy is now out on a scoring pass and calls it before Tiffy can score any points, getting 3 points for the Wild West Outlaws.
Yeah, tried to make that apex jump but couldn't land it and had to get it recycled back, but still able to pull off 3 points. Well, now we have MDK Demolition back out. Had a pretty good run last time they were the jammer. Going up against Vivian Slaya in white.
Both jammers hit into the wall, and Vivian is hit right out on that outside line as MDK tries to push up the center. Some offense comes right up, clears out that wall a little bit, but Vivian gets right through and is now lead jammer. MDK takes it off, passes it to Breezy, and Breezy runs right out and is now scoring.
Nice moves by Vivian to get that inside and get 4 points. So again, it's going to be a very close game. Only a 10-point game right now. So getting every, even if it's just 4 points per jam, is going to have a big difference as this game rolls on.
Next up jamming, we have Little Evil and Fireball.
Okay, and both Both teams start at the pivot line but roll back to the jammer line, and both jammers get a little bit of momentum going to slam into those walls, but now it is a big shoving match right in front of us here.
We got some good fight, and Little Evil is now the lead jammer with Fireball going close behind. We've got a jammer race here to see who can score points first.
Yeah, those little quick steps to beat the defender to the line and get through.
And that's 2 points for the Wild West Outlaws.
Yeah, the tripods of both these teams are so solid. Having that quick footwork, makes all the difference in trying to just find that little bit of room, either to split them up or to beat them to one of the edges.
We have Spilly Idol and Halloween. Spilly Idol gets through on that outside, but the wall reforms quickly around them.
Yeah, Hugs and Stitches getting into Spilly Idol's way, but Spilly Idol still able to push through and is now our lead jammer.
Halloween gets by, but gets quickly shut down by some of the Foco blockers as Spilly Idol runs around gaining 4 points and closing that gap up on the score.
Yeah, these are the kind of jams that Foco really needs here. And making it look easy is Spilly Idol for 8.
And there's a star pass to the knockout as Spilly Idol calls the jam. It is now going to be a 4-point game.
We have 14 minutes left in this half. Yeah, the Outlaws has started with a point lead, and they haven't given it up, but the Micro Bruisers have been threatening them every step of the way here. Sid Vicious against the Glitter Bomb. Sid Vicious in black.
And Sid Vicious dances by on that inside line while Glitter Bomb is still stuck in that pack as one of their own players tried to get some offense done and got a penalty called. Sid Vicious is coming back around on scoring as lead jammer.
Yeah, they're very good at hitting those lines and then spinning past the defender, just as they did right now to get through for 4. Very good moves by Sid Vicious.
Glitter Bomb finally gets through that pack and is now scoring as Sid Vicious comes around after freeing up those points and getting us all tied up. And the jam is called. That's going to be another 4 points for the Micro Bruisers.
Yeah, now we have our lead change. So 2 solid 8-point jams by the Micro Bruisers puts them up in the lead now.
Next up jamming, we have Little Kitty Split and Tiffy Twister. The jam starts off, and Tiffy and Little are both fighting really hard, but Tiffy gets through getting lead jammer, while the Foco defense is getting ripped apart.
Yeah, Tiffy Twister sneaking through those defenders to get that lead, and now scoring. But very quick regrouping are the defenders, the Outlaw defenders. Oh, Little Kitty Split is out.
These blockers are giving up such a good fight that even around that offense are still trying to score points. Both walls here are doing an amazing job at some point denial as the Micro Bruisers get 3 points.
Yeah, a lot of very solid tripods, almost impossible to move, but then when that offense comes in, they quickly transition to a very good 2-wall to halt the jammer in their tracks.
Very much so.
All right, we have our first team timeout of the game as the Wild West Outlaws get 1 minute to regroup and talk things out. They had a Never a overwhelming lead, but they had been in lead up until this moment, so I'm sure they might want to just kind of talk things out and regroup and kind of get back into the groove that they were in at the beginning of this half here. So we're 11 minutes and 31 seconds away from our half. So remember, during that half, visit our raffle table, purchase some tickets, visit our concession stand as well. There are Malice in the Mountain tournament patches. However, they'll only be available tomorrow. So be sure to be here and be ready to pick up your Malice in the Mountains 2025 patch. I really like the design this year. It's a great design. I'm definitely getting a patch. Okay, and it is number 15, MDK Demolition, back out there for Foco, going up against Vivian Slaya.
We've got some good fight coming from both of the walls here. Playing one down, the Foco defense is holding Vivian, while MDK is still trying to fight through that 4 wall. Both walls are back up to full strength as no pack is called. Both of those jammers are still struggling to get through this rock-hard defense.
Yeah, lead is still open, so we are, it's almost about a minute down, and we still have an assessed lead. So these jammers are pushing hard to just try to get that control and that, the little advantage they get for being a lead jammer by controlling the clock.
That Foco defense holds really strong as one of their blockers leaves to try and do offense, but the Arizona wall did a good job at countering that offense. And the star is taken off and given. Now we have one more chance for Vivian to still get lead. But sadly, they just lost it as they took off the star, and this will now be a 2-minute jam.
30 seconds left in this jam as Breezy's putting a few points up on the board for the Foco. Nice moves to stay in bounds there to get another 4 points.
Now, just so you know, both jammers here both took off the stars. As Breezy did receive a star pass, they lost their eligibility to be lead jammer. But when Vivian took off their star, they also lost it as well. And the jam is up.
Yeah, Breezy taking some hits there, but staying up on their feet. Able to get hard to find their jam ref here. 3 more points for them, so 7-point jam. Starting off as the pivot and taking that star. The Outlaws still able to put up 2 as well, though.
It is now an 11-point game as Little Evil and Fireball both line up on the starting. The jam is off, and that defense is doing their best to hold strong. Arizona set up one of their own for defense. Fireball tries their best to break through that 3 wall, but gets caught by the individual as Little Evil slides out for lead jammer.
Yeah, Fireball making some good moves there, though, to get by this pack. Hugs and Stitches with a nice attempt, but unable to stop him. And now it is Little Evil for his scoring pass. Tries for an apex jump, doesn't quite land it. And so we just have 1 point gained by Little Evil for the Outlaws. But, in this kind of a game, this close, 1 point is a good thing to have. Billy Idol and Halloween, all these jammers have been really good. They've been really fun to watch. And they've kind of been going head-to-head this whole game here.
Next up jamming is Halloween and Spilly Idol, both jammers that we see out here a lot, and they're both trying their best to get through that wall. One of the Foco skaters goes out on a multiplayer penalty. As Spilly...
Spilly Idol through for lead. But right behind now is Halloween, so let's see what Spilly Idol can put some points on the board.
We've got some offense coming from the Arizona and Foco walls. as Halloween comes through and calls the jam before, or Spilly Idol calls the jam before Halloween can score any points.
Yeah, Spilly Idol doesn't scrub their speed at all when they're approaching the wall, so they really get a good advantage of being able to try to hit through some blockers and get some points. Sid Vicious and Glitter Bomb, Sid Vicious and Black. Looks like we still have some players in the penalty box here. And now a lot of lateral movements by both these jammers trying to make use of that space on the track to break up these walls. Both jammers got really good footwork, but so far the defender's able to keep up with them.
We now have a power jam as Sid Vicious is now the lead jammer. Let's see how Foco will take this power jam.
Big moment here for Foco, coming up from behind, and maybe they can go into the half with a little bit more of a lead. They can take good advantage of this power jam here. Bowser, some good offense.
That offense splits up that wall just enough so Sid Vicious only has to go for one skater at a time.
Another minute left in this jam here, so that is some good time for Sid Vicious to put some more points on the board. Definitely using Bowser as a good offensive weapon.
Glitter Bomb goes up against that defense and is breaking apart those butts to try and get through. But sadly, that wall just gets right in front of them right when they take down another skater. And sadly, that's going to be another penalty for the jammer of Arizona.
Yeah, it can definitely get frustrating when you have such a hard wall and you can inadvertently do a forearm or maybe miss, in that case, a cut track. You're not quite sure where your foot was when you're just trying to shove and push and make your way through the defenders.
That tiredness will really get to you. Sid Vicious is coming through, gets a little leap as they try and get through. But that defense is holding strong, even against that Foco offense. And the jam is called.
Yeah, Sid Vicious as the lead jammer, just opting to do the full 2 minutes and making 12 points out of that. So, again, it's a big jam here. You're not going to see too many double-digit jams in this game so far.
Next up jamming, we have Little Kitty Split and Tiffy Twister. That Foco wall is starting in the back and tries to hold that jammer, but they get through with Tiffy right behind.
Yeah, we see a lot of head-to-head matches with these jammers. It's always very interesting with Little Kitty Split with very long, strong legs going up against Tiffy Twister is a very powerful jammer, and seeing those two different jamming styles compete against each other.
And we have 3 points for Black and then 1 point for the Outlaws. Foco has turned around this game and now has a 20-point lead.
Slay opting to start way back to try to get up some speed, and it works for her. Nice work by Slaya.
Slay is still in as MDK is trying to break through. They take off the pass, but the defense is already ready for the jammer again.
Oh, no. This will be another 2-minute jam as the lead jammer now goes into the box.
It is now going to be a power jam as well because Vivian did go out on a back block. MDK is still fighting to get through with that star off. That offense gets a bunch of one-on-one blocking down, but MDK seems a little tired to deal with that.
Yeah, Hugs and Stitches with a great hit, but then a very good footwork by MDK to stay in despite that hit. But no, 5-6-2.
And Vivian
Tinkerhell.
And Vivian Slaya is coming right back in. We're going to see if MDK can get off their initial pass here. Both jammers are feeling a little bit tired, and you can see it in how they play.
Nice footwork by Slaya to get around and through.
And the star pass goes to 8-0. Breezy. That defense is holding the best that they can against Vivian, while that Arizona defense is doing a good job at stopping Breezy's style of jamming.
Yeah, and keep in mind that star has to be on the helmet for any of these points to count when you're passing opposing blockers.
Now, Breezy is finally off of their initial pass. Coming back around as Vivian is trying to break through with some offense.
Yeah, the Outlaws with an outstanding penalty kill. And Slaya's back out and scoring points now, so.
Arizona tried to do some defense in those final seconds. Foco, seeing this, also did a little of their own and kept them separated so Breezy could slide by. It is now a 23-point game.
Yeah, this is probably our last jam of the half here. We're just down in a final minute. Fireball up against Little Evil.
Both jammers get stuck right between those butts. Seems that Little Evil tries to slide into that outside, but Fireball tries to push up that middle, trying to stay away from the edges a little bit more. They get pushed through, and with a little bit of offense, they try to slide through on that outside, but get hit out. Little Evil is still trying to fight through that pack, gets a big hit from Gonzo. Fireball is going to be pushing up that pack, trying to maybe create a no-pack scenario, while Little Evil is still in the back, dealing with the full force of that wall.
All right, and Fireball able to bridge out the Outlaws to get in that lead position. So looks like the Microbruisers entering into the half with a pretty good lead right now. It's kind of where they want to be, coming up from behind.
And let's see if 24 Spitfire can get some points off the board, or try and at least get out to maybe get something for their team to try and close that up a little bit. Fireball is still in that back as Spitfire breaks up that wall and slides right on by, moving to their scoring pass, but the jam is called. We're going to be ending off this half with the Microbruisers with a 29-point lead.
We do have an official review called right at the end of that, so looks like we may reset our intermission clock here. We will see.
They might be going for a 4. Oh, didn't they lose their review?
The Outlaws lost their review.
Yeah, and they just called one.
I thought the Bruisers called it.
Oh, was it the Bruisers?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, you're mic too, right? Do you want to mute up?
What's up?
You want to mute up, or?
I'll keep on. Yeah.
Here, I'm going to mute up.
Yeah, so we have our official review being called. See how this affects the clock, or see how it affects going into the second half here. Meanwhile, our intermission clock is still rolling. So maybe the officials will discuss this over the intermission and then apply
well, that's what we did at
the retain or
they
lose
went up and they tell us what
once
happened.
we begin here in the second half. So keep in mind we do have indoor restrooms, however, those are only for active skaters and officials. So please use the porta potties provided outside and leave those restrooms open for
Well, they
our
have
players.
nobody calling it either, so we don't know who.
Oh, well, this
Is
is
this
being
just like a booth
discussed.
official review
Please
call?
feel free to visit our concession stand and also
really
purchase
weird.
some raffle tickets. And we will be back in 13 minutes, and I'll let you know the results of this review.
So, what was this review about? Was it about the forearm call on? All right. It seems that the Outlaws used their second half review in their first half to try and get a forearm call on number 29 Gonzo, but they did lose their review. All right, interesting.
All right, we will be resume play once again in 5 minutes, and that is 5 minutes time. We will resume our second half of the game.
Me and Slim are apparently going to be playing the mixer. Yeah.
You know what teams yet?
Nope. I'm going to go run home and grab my gear. That's all I know.
Okay.
I'm going to be playing on some slick ass wheels too. Yeah, it's the ones that we used for champs this last year.
Unless something changes, I'm on the white team.
All right. I hope me and Slim are on the same team.
This will actually be my first game since July. I played in Moab. My first game in the depot since Survivor back in April.
Damn. Whenever champs was, that's when I last played. So whenever that was. I was gonna play a game like a month ago, but I didn't. I think it's been like 2 months. Let me check. I have like photos, so I like know kind of exactly when. Well, I played a game in Boston, actually, so I had that as well. That was in August. So I played back in August. How long ago was that?
2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. I'm actually going to be maybe helping some of the juniors for their Foco tryouts. So I'm going to leave for a week for that, but I'm helping some of the local skaters here get ready for it.
All right, 90 seconds until we begin our second half. So everybody that is outside waiting around, bring them inside. So we're about to be starting here. This is a very close game, very low scoring, just like our first game today. And so it's definitely worth seeing every second of this. So get them inside here. We got about a minute left before we start this up. All right, and it's going to be Spilly Idol against Halloween. Looks like we're going to be seeing that matchup all day long here, or well, all 30 minutes left of this half long. Now, each of these, all the 4 teams that have come to the Malice tournament here will play each other once. So we have 2 more sanctioned games today after this one, and then 2 more tomorrow morning. And I wonder if they're all going to be big defensive battles like what we've been seeing so far. All right, rolling whistle gets us started.
For our first jam back from intermission, we're going to have Spilly Idol and Halloween.
Okay, and there is one Foco blocker sitting on the penalty box as we start this. Billy Idol shoving their way to the outside, looking for room, but no, is cut off. Tinkerhell being right there, right at the right time. We got a directional call on the, see that is the knockout, the pivot.
Billy Idol gets out as lead jammer, while Halloween is still stuck in that Foco defense. Billy Idol comes around again, and the wall's a little bit broken up. So they only have to go against 1 or 2 at a time, and they get out, getting another 4 points.
Yeah, Billy Idol doesn't slow down when they approach the pack, and they definitely come in with some strength, too, so they're hard to stop if you can't get your ball right in front of them.
For sure. Halloween comes out for scoring as Billy Idol calls the jam.
The kind of start that the Micro Bruisers definitely wanted to have. Keep pushing up that lead. Just for us? Yeah, I mean, these were here when I got here this morning, so I'm sure they're just, yeah. All right, Sid Vicious back out, going up against Glitterbomb.
Thought we were going to see a little jammer on jammer violence there, but Sid Vicious tiptoes on that outside line, trying to get through, but that Arizona defense gets right back in front of him.
Yeah, Spitfire with some very good one-on-one blocking to slow down Sid Vicious' advance, but Glitterbomb goes to the box now. So now we have ourselves a power jam, and Sid Vicious can definitely take advantage of that. I heard a whistle, but I don't see anyone leaving the track, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Sid Vicious gets the lead jammer. If they get 4 more points, we might see a 40-point lead. Sid Vicious tries to get by on that outside, gets hit out, but their own player hits out the other as they try to tiptoe on that inside, meeting the defense of 2-4. Spitfire.
Yeah, Spitfire's been really good at that one-on-one blocking. Really big asset to the team here. And I mean, this whole outlaw defense has been very formidable, and they've just been very good at being able to stop a jammer all on themselves and let their other blockers come up to meet them.
And Glitterbomb gets out on scoring as Sid Vicious tries to fight through to get some points. And the jam is called.
Yeah, so the Micro Bruisers slowly and surely expanding that lead as we start into the second half here. So I think the Outlaws got to find what was working for them at the beginning of our last half and make that happen again.
Next up, we have Little Kitty Split and Tiffy Twister. The Micro Bruiser Jammer will only have to go against a 2-wall, while Kitty gets to deal with the full force of the Foco wall.
Yeah, Tiffy Twister, a very pushy jammer, so 2-wall, they did a very good job, but weren't able to hold them long before they came out for that, got that lead.
Split gets through on a scoring pass, and Tiffy is still in that wall, and they call the jam.
Yeah, so as long as the Micro Bruisers can keep up getting lead, you know, the more chances you get lead, the bigger chances you have of controlling that score and controlling the clock. That can really be a big advantage to you here. So, you know, I believe the Outlaws really got to work on trying to get that lead percentage up again.
And we get an official timeout.
As we fix our scoreboard here, and we're about to get going again.
Next up jamming, we have MDK and Vivian. Both the jammers are getting stuck in the middle of those packs. Vivian's onto that inside while MDK is trying to push up that middle. Vivian breaks through some of the blockers, but they get right back up to support the other two. MDK is still going for that long haul, trying to push them forward as some offense goes up against the Foco wall from an Arizona blocker.
Oh, excellent spin move by Slaya to get out for lead. And now the Foco's coming in and providing some offense, trying to help out Demolition. As Slaya comes in for a scoring pass.
One of the Foco skaters went back to do some offense, and distracted one of the blockers to hitting them, but that Arizona defense got right back into it as Vivian is being held by those skaters on the inside, but they slide through, hitting the opposing blockers, and we have a massive pile up on that inside turn.
All right, and looks like 2 Foco blockers going to the box, so that's going to be a big advantage to Slaya here.
And we had a panty pass to Peter Panic.
And they call it off, so that's starting off, that's going to be a big advantage where you have like a 4-on-2. Little Evil can maybe take advantage of only having 2 blockers to beat.
And jamming, we have Fireball and Little Evil.
Fireball's got to go up against all 4 of the Outlaws, who've been shown to be pretty tough and hard to deal with, even if you only have 2 of them. But doing a very good job on a 2-wall is for Foco.
That 2-wall is doing a really good job of playing around that offense, and they're doing a really good job at hitting out that jammer.
Yeah,
8-0 will bring them back. Fireball is still stuck in that wall. Both of those blockers are ready for the fight as they are getting their blockers back.
Wow, that is, only 2 blockers out there, and lead is still open. Impressive. So it was Breezy and looked like number 20, or maybe Gonzo, perhaps? Yeah. Gonzo and Breezy doing an excellent job of keeping Little Evil contained during that 30-second power, or not power jam, but 30-second disadvantage.
Fireball is pushing up that wall and spreading them thin, so they only have to deal with 1 at a time. They slide by getting lead jammer, while Little Evil tries to do a star pass. And they cast that person who grabs the star as Fireball comes through, getting another 4 points.
Yeah, this is what the Micro Bruisers definitely want to do. I mean, it took 70 seconds to get lead, but now they're scoring and increasing that lead that they've been building up on since late in the first half.
Once they have that momentum, they have that power. The knockout is still behind that wall. They do a line jump.
Excellent ability to stay on their feet. Just Fireball taking some big hits on the outside line, but not stepping out.
And the Micro Bruisers will be starting the next jam with a power. The jam is on. We have Spilly Idol, who is having a power start.
Yeah, I didn't see what the call was at the end against the Outlaw Jammer. But
we have a really strong start here for Spilly Idol. Let's see how Foco's going to use this really powerful start. We got 4 more points coming through for Spilly Idol, while the other jammer is now going to just be leaving the box.
Yeah. All right, now back out is the number 0 for the Outlaws. That is the knockout.
Billy
Foco's really got it together now. They seem to be working very fluidly. And now there is that star pass, and so Holly Ween is now the jammer. Spilly Idol putting up points though.
Billy Idol comes in, scoring 2 points right before Holly Ween could even score 1. We're now looking at a 62-point lead.
Sid Fish's blackout against Glitter Bomb. Yeah, Spilly Idol, someone who can move through a pack. All right, and we have an official timeout here.
Now, during this timeout, I just wanted to remind you guys of one of our sponsors, the Pie Pizzeria. It's a Valley landmark since 1980, and it continues to reign atop the best pizza lists because of the business's philosophy that consistency, quality, equitable pricing, and great service are the keys to success. I will say, as a college student right now at the University of Utah, they are my go-to whenever I'm feeling a bit hungry on campus and I have a full day up there. So if you're coming in from out of town, make sure to go check out the Pie Pizzeria because their food is amazing.
Yeah, they get it done really quick too. I did a pickup one time. By the time I got there, it was already done, and it was like good. It wasn't like hastily made and barely cooked.
Yeah, and it's always hot, and it's always ready, and it's always so amazing, and the cheese just melts in your mouth. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Next up, jamming, we have Sid Vicious and Little Evil. That defense tries to keep Little Evil, but sadly they get in on the inside. That's going to be Glitter Bomb for your lead jammer.
Yeah, and this is what the Outlaws need right now.
I so said Little Evil. Sid Vicious takes off the star. We have some big penalty calls coming through. And
we
Glitter.
do have a power jam. This will go the full 2 minutes as the lead jammer goes to the box.
We're having some big hits from that Foco defense as they try to get some offense done for Sid. Again, we're going to have that 2-minute jam because Sid did take off the star, but they are still on their initial pass, so it'll be just a minute before they get scoring again. Can Arizona hold that jammer long enough so that they can get theirs out and scoring? Let's see what they do with this.
Yeah, the Outlaws working really good together again, really stopping Sid Vicious, who can definitely put up some points on the board, and they are stopping her cold out here on the track. And an excellent penalty kill by the Outlaws. This Glitter Bomb charges back into this and drawing a multiplayer penalty by charging into the pack too. So great job with Glitter Bomb trying to get through there and also sending one of the blockers to the penalty box. However, we have Breezy and Gonzo working again as a very capable tube to hold back Glitter Bomb. Glitter Bomb fights for it and gets through, but that was a fight.
Sid Vicious is losing a little bit of that momentum, but their offense being done for them is helping them quite a bit. We get a track cut on one of the blockers as the jam ends, and that's going to be 7 points for the Outlaws.
Yeah, so all our teams here will get a bit of a break. Scheduled at 2 o'clock is a open gender bout. That is our non-sanctioned bout for during this tournament weekend here. So that'll be a bunch of mostly Salt Lake Derby players, but a few other people coming in to play in that game. We both are scheduled to play in that, so that should be fun.
Are you talking about last year?
Yeah.
Now, Tiffy Twister gets lead jammer with Little Kitty Split right behind. We're going to have the packs running. So I wonder how this defense is going to hold up. And Tiffy Twister gets right through, getting 4 points. While sadly, Katie only gets 0. 3 points for the
excellent
Bruisers.
control by Tiffy Twister there to stay in there and get that last point.
Yeah, it's very good footwork there. They dodged around those people, and then as they got through, even though they did not pass that last tip, it was a really smart call off.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, we have MDK Demolition and Vivian Slaya.
Yeah, Slaya making a lot of room on that track, doing a lot of lateral movement.
Vivian is doing a really good job at pushing that wall forward, but that wall just gets right around them. MDK is creating some good space in the back. Some offense comes up for Vivian, but it does quite a bit. But Gonzo catches Vivian on that outside just to get caught by Breezy. The pack is a little spread here as MDK is in the back dealing with one less skater, and we have lead jammer for Vivian.
Yeah, Slaya working hard to get lead, but has it. And we have a direction call on Bowser, Foco. They'll send them to the box. So now 3-on-3 of the blockers there. Breezy laying down some hard hits, but no, those are directionals.
And
so
sadly,
Breezy to the box as well.
Sadly, there's also a cut call on the jammer. So we have a power jam for Arizona. Gonzo gets a hit on that outside, proving to be a really formidable blocker. But the jam is called so that there can be a power start for Little Evil.
Yeah, for Foco, definitely been seeing Gonzo and Breezy capable of working together as a tandem team and also doing very good as solo blockers as well.
It seems that there's only going to be one blocker for Foco, and that's going to be Gonzo. Sadly, Gonzo is not enough for that whole wall, and Halloween gets out, getting lead jammer.
And looks like Gonzo now being sent to the box. A little bit of a delay on the penalty there as the Foco box was full. So hopefully Foco can get these penalties under control here because the Outlaws are threatening once again as Halloween is now around for 8 points. And another directional call on Breezy.
Now that wall comes right through, Halloween comes through, and there's going to be only 2 blockers for Foco again, but this time they are going to have their jammer. So lining up, we're going to have Little Evil against Fireball. Fireball is going to be going against a full force Arizona wall, while Little Evil is only going to have to go against 2.
So only 13 minutes left, and it is a 42-point game, but that is more than enough time for the Outlaws to retake this lead. If you're familiar with how quickly leads can vanish in roller derby, so Foco would really need to get these penalties under control if they don't want to see that happen.
.29 comes back in to help with that defense. Little Evil is lead, bringing it back.
Little Evil charging around. Nice quick move to the outside. Gets them through for 4.
Fireball comes through, getting off of and into their scoring pass. It's only about a 38-point game. So we're going to see how Arizona tries to pull this back with some immediate offense. Both of the jammers are running up. That's going to be a full 4 for Arizona. They're tightening up that 50-point spread down to 38. We have an official review for the Micro Bruisers.
Yeah, Micro Bruisers, some really bad penalty trouble here in these last 2 jams. You'd hate to have them perhaps look back on the game, seeing how the score ends up and kind of realizing maybe where you lost it and what you maybe need to do in the future.
Penalties can really kill a game sometimes. I remember a game that I played during the start of the season where at the start we were down by about 70 points and we had about like 40 penalty calls. But during the second half of the game, we evened up and got only 13, and we ended up winning that game by 50 points.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it was really interesting to see how we had to make an 80-point comeback between the first and the second half while keeping the opposing players not being able to score. So it was a really interesting thing to try and do.
Oh, yeah.
So two things. The Micro Bruisers will be retaining their review as they try to get a back block call on the jammer of the previous jam, and they did succeed. And the points for one of the teams has been increased from 2 to 4, but that is separate from the review call. So we've got a power start for Foco with Spilly Idol.
Yeah, Spilly Idol can move through a pack pretty well, and with some offensive help, that can definitely make short work of it. Oh, coming out of his Hugs and Stitches, coming right out of the box with a hard hit. Excellent hit by Hugs and Stitches. Yeah, that lead position was all Spilly Idol. Well, they did get lead, but had to be recycled back.
Now that offense from the Foco did a really good job at playing towards their jammer's strength, as Spilly Idol does a really good job at only going against one blocker at a time. Now that defense got torn apart a little bit after a penalty call, calling Little Evil to get out, but the jam is called.
Oh, that was very, very physical, very well done by the Outlaws there. That could have been a lot nastier than it ended up being. But still 3 points put up there by Spilly Idol.
Next up, jamming, we have Little Kitty Split and Sid Vicious. We've got a really interesting points right here. It's a 41-point gap. The Arizona could get this one back. And they could even easier because Split comes out as the lead jammer while Sid Vicious is getting recycled by that wall.
Yeah, in these last 10 minutes here, looks like the Outlaws have kind of been bringing it back together a little bit.
Oh, big hits from those blockers as they hit out Kitty
Zeppelin.
Split.
Excellent hit.
And the jam is called. Next up, we have Halloween, and then we have Tiffy Twister.
Yeah, so they kind of shaking things up a little bit with the jammers. We've kind of been seeing the same jammer duos competing against each other all game. Now we're seeing a little bit of some changes.
For sure, and it's also really interesting of a start that we have here. Both teams are playing one down. Breezy comes in, doing some offense, so that Tiffy Twister slides through on that inside.
Forearm call. I'm not sure if lead was called yet, though, so lead may still be open.
I believe lead is open. The forearm called appeared on the outside as they performed an illegal assist for pushing off an opposing player to gain momentum. And that's going to be lead jammer for Halloween, with Tiffy Twister still in the box as the Foco wall is going to lose a skater.
Yeah, definitely kind of crashed into the opposing wall, kind of head first, and got a high block call from it. So that'll bring out the other jammer.
We have a 2-minute jam. We are not going to be having a jammer swap, so that jammer is going to be staying in the box for a full 30 seconds. Tiffy, using this well, gets right through, and sadly it does not have lead.
Yeah, Tiffy with a lot of speed, especially this late in the game, still coming in with a lot of speed and power.
For sure, they are breaking up that wall. But sadly, that wall is not losing any of that power either. We had a little friendly fire there on the course caused by the Foco wall. And Tiffy Twister gets out as Holly Ween comes back in.
Oh, an excellent spin move by Holly Ween to get by Bowser. But it is Tiffy Twister who's 4 points up at this one as our jam ends.
There was some really good fight there, especially from both of the jammers and both of those walls during those offense situations, and we saw a lot of good plays coming from both sides.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think like going into the last half of this tournament here, the teams got to just think about like we're just facing these incredible defenses. Like how do we use our offense? How do our jammers compete against these others? Rather so you're not just fighting and stuck behind these tough walls like for the next.
For sure.
Day,
It's also trying to find out what those weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And Glitter Bomb finds the weakness and gets through as the lead jammer as MDK gets ready for a star pass. The pack is spread pretty far. Glitter comes back in, meeting some hefty defense, but they slide through on that inside. MDK is still stuck in that wall.
Yeah, a comeback is definitely within reach for the Outlaws here, but they really got to make sure they can get the lead as often as they can in these last final minutes.
The Micro Bruisers forgot to field a pivot, so MDK is going to be unable to pass the star. Glitter Bomb coming in to try and score some more points, trying to tighten up that spread. It is now only a 35-point spread with 5 minutes left in the game. Next up jamming, we have Fireball and Kitty. Both of these jammers have been performing really well this whole game.
And we have an official timeout being called. Looks like all the refs are going to gather around for a little bit. So actually probably a bit of a blessing for these teams. Get a nice little breather and you don't have to use any of your timeouts. Yeah, both teams playing hard, and like each of these teams still has 2 more games to go. One more game later today and another game tomorrow. So, I mean, we've already seen the 4 competing teams this tournament put in everything they got into their respective games, and that's only 1/3 of the games left that they got to do.
We've got a lot of good games to come. So that's very happy to see that this is a good point at what we're seeing for all of the teams later.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry. No, so I actually saw what happened. MDK tried to take off the front wheel to somebody else, but they kept it on after they gave it the field finish. So they didn't ever swap it, I don't think. Yes, it was 1-5. No, I saw that. I thought that was really interesting to see. I was like, oh, they forgot to field a pivot, and I saw them take it off. I even like said something about it, but she put it right back on and she ran out. Yeah, where you take it off to kind of mess them up. Yeah.
Yeah, our officials are still sorting out what happened here. Make sure all the things are accounted for, to make sure we have all the points that people earned are displayed.
We had a little bit of confusion that last one because MDK did take off the star, but they did not pass it, even though there was no pivot on the other side. Now the next jam is off. Fireball is like a ballerina and tiptoes by that inside, while Kitty Split is still in that wall.
Yeah, neither team in a position, or Foco not in a position to just kind of like rest and sort of kill off these last few minutes. The Outlaws are definitely capable of scoring.
And they do call it jam. They're trying to get that more time in between, because more time resting is less time played. So it's a really smart strategy to just call it off and let them kind of run themselves out a little bit. Try and get that kind of like pulse gameplay going, so people get started, but they never slow down by the end.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely controlling how to use that time, and especially in the last few minutes, can be a strategy in and all of itself.
For sure. Next up, jamming, we have Vivian Slaya and Spilly Idol. We get a forearm call on one of the Foco blockers. Vivian takes one down as they try to get up. Oh, and everybody is tripping on each other. Spilly Idol is still stuck in that wall, as Slaya is now the lead jammer.
Yeah, Spilly's hard to take off their feet, so those must be some pretty good hits that they're taking.
For sure. Spilly Idol takes off the star as they try to go through, and they are now scoring. That defense from Foco is doing a really good job, but the jam is called. It's going to be really hard to close off that gap if the jams keep going like this.
Right, yeah, it's with with the standings, how the final score pans out matters. So you don't, if you're ahead, you don't want to rest. You still want to keep building points, and even if you're behind, you want to close up that gap, so that can, just how the game ends can affect your ranking and your positioning. So, yeah, at no point do you ever just want to give up during a game, regardless of like what the time is and the score.
For sure. Next up, jamming, we have Sid Vicious and Little Evil. Both of them are getting stuck in the pack as that offense tries to help Little Evil. They're breaking up some points, but that defense is coming through, and Sid Vicious is now the lead jammer.
Yeah, trying to do a whip there. This Little Evil, it looks like one of their defenders, looks like Ham Weasley was trying to throw them past the pack.
That was really interesting to see, for sure. Sid Vicious goes around getting another 4 points.
Yeah. And this will really help secure things for Foco as we wind down here. I think maybe even opting to run down the whole jam clock, even if they don't score a whole lot of points from doing so, just to get that overall play clock down.
We have some big hits coming in that top of the pack. Sid Vicious keeps trying to get through, but Spitfire continues to stop them. We get some offense from the opposing wall.
And Vicious does make it through, though, for some points. So killing that clock and also getting 4 more points for Foco.
It is a power jam, and it seems that we might see a full 2-minute jam. And they call the jam so that Foco can start with a power start.
And by the time this next jam starts, we'll be under a minute, so a good chance this will be it. Definitely excellent coming from behind was Foco. You know, they're down maybe even close to 20, even closer to 30 points at one point early in the first half, and kind of took over in the last few minutes of the first half and really just spread out their lead in this second half here.
Next up, jamming, we have Holly Ween and Tiffy Twister. Holly Ween is breaking up that wall. And right behind Holly Ween, we have Tiffy Twister, who is gaining speed. And Tiffy Twister is actually the lead jammer, as Holly Ween went out on a penalty. I wonder if Foco is going to run it until the clock is out, or if they're going to end it to get another jam.
Play clock's at 24 seconds right now, the period clock.
And that's going to be 4 points for Tiffy Twister. And we only have 15 seconds left in this half. That offense is picking off those blockers, and Tiffy gets by. And the jam is called. That is going to be the unofficial score for now. So now we're going to combine. We're going to see if all the points for this half are tallying up and are all good. And then we're going to see if this is the game.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, as it stands right now, 148 Micro Bruisers to 94 Wild West Outlaws.
It was a really good start to this game for sure. The Arizona came out with a really good start.